Hello, everybody. We are going to get all set up. All right, hands look good. Got to pull back my lights. We are going to get started very soon. Actually, I think while we're getting everything ready to go, I'm going to actually multitask. And I didn't get my card base ready for today. And I figured I could maybe work on that while we're waiting to get ready. But if you guys are stopping by, drop a quick comment just to say hello. My iPad is dead. Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, let's get this plugged in. That explains a lot. All right, so I'm going to unplug that. Plug this in. My iPad is not plugged in. I'm going to grab my laptop just to have off to the side for now. And we'll just circle back to making our, whatchamacallem, our card base later. So I'll pull this off. My laptop situated. Y'all, it's been a doozy of an afternoon. Let's see. So we got that. Oh, we got that off. No sound, please. Just so I've got it, let's put this off to the side over here. It has been like a very eventful last 30 minutes in my household. So, oh, you know what? My iPad does have a chart. No, I don't know if it does or not. It says 100%, and then it also says 5% battery. Maybe my iPad needs to be replaced. That would be fun to add to today. All right, let's see. Da-da. So now, it's got to get the Wi-Fi going. All right, you all, I appreciate y'all's patience with me today. Let's go into the fan club on my iPad. Get things going. I hope everybody is having a fantastic Thursday. Usually you don't get me on Thursdays. That's a-okay. Right, we're going to try something else with this. My iPad's being a little funky today. Probably needs an update sometime soon, in all honesty. It's been off for probably over a week. Let's see where we're going. We're going into the fan club. I'm going to open this screen up. All right. You get to see my face. All the things. All right, all right. Let's see, get this situated. My crafting area has been a little bit of a mess lately. Always a mess, but I feel like it's been a little bit more of one. That's okay. Still making sure everything is good to go. Do a quick once around and we will get to crafting. Usually I am so much quicker than I'm being tonight. I also just panicked because I just got a text message that I had a confirmed dinner reservation for tonight. And I'm like, what are we talking about? And it was from last week. So my phone is not staying. I think I know what the problem is. Level. That feels better. Okay, we're gonna stick like that. Okay, let's get to some crafting. So today we are going to be using the, if my pronunciation is incorrect, I apologize, the Fairy Cloche die. And we're going to be using this to build up a thank you card. And it's going to be kind of a simple approach, but we're going to do a lot to make the card put together. So I have a bunch of die cut elements ready to go for our card. And we're going to ink blend. We're going to put everything together. It's going to be kind of a therapeutic Facebook Live, if I'm being honest with you. So we're just going to get into it. So let's go in. Let's see. I have a big match. Do I want to use the big match? Not really. We're going to go in and start blending up our background. And we're going to start, I've got some distress ink on some light blue paper. And I'm going to make sure that I've got like the excess ink off. And we're going to use this large blender because I need to cover a large space. So I'm just going to go in and just take this large blending tool right to my paper. And I'm just going to start to discolor it. And this is Salty Ocean. And we're going to build up some colors. Because I want to still keep that light blue in the center. But I want to start that build-up process. And I want to keep the light blue in the center because I want my fairy cloche to be kind of lighter in the center. So we're going to make it darker around the edges of the card. I don't know if I accidentally spit on my card or not, but we're going to, you know what, we're going to flip over just because we're going to get a fresh start on that side. I'm going to try not to spray it. Just because I got some of those parts that are kind of getting swirled around, I don't really know. My only thing I can think of is maybe I spit and it moved it around. So I'm going to go in, we're going to start on the other side. That's A-okay. I'm going to be careful to not smudge too much since we're using dye ink on cardstock. Ooh, y'all, so I'm in the Chicago area and we woke up to snow today. But it didn't last very long. It was snowing on my drive into work. I checked the weather before going to bed last night. Actually, I watched the news, which is not an evening task for me, if I'm being honest. But we were watching CBS last night, and it just ran into the local news, and I was like, you know what? I'll just floss and listen. And the big headline was about the snow coming in, and that I could have up to 3 inches in our area. And I'm like, oh boy. All right, so we've got Salty Ocean. Let's move on to Prize Ribbon as the next color. So we had a little bit of that today. Just going in, trying to make sure that that end gets blended since I have a little bit of a smudge, but not worried about it. Just kind of going in. And so today we're going to be using essentially solely dye inks. And I don't use dye inks that much during a Facebook or during my demonstrations. I usually use oxide inks. That's my usual go-to. But we're using lots and lots of colored cardstock today. And my favorite ink for the most part when I'm working with a colored cardstock is a dye ink, like a distress ink. But there's a lot of different dye inks on the market. I kind of believe that dye inks, when it comes to popular inks, are the largest group of inks. So like, essentially what I mean by that is most of the inks that you hear the most of, most of the inks that you're hearing about are probably a dye ink. Now, don't get me wrong. I know like oxides are not dye inks. They have some dye ink properties, but they're not. There are what Lisa Horton inks are also pretty popular. Those are not all of those are dye inks. Those are the color shift inks. Or I have the metallic inks of those. So, all right, that's Prize Ribbon. Now we're gonna go in with some Chip Sapphire. Just kind of take the edge off. And then let's go in with some Chip Sapphire, which is gonna be our darkest color. We're just gonna kind of bring it into those edges, make them nice and dark. Now I might go in and hit this with one of the lighter colors just to help my blend get a little smoother, but I'm not worried about it. I'm also gonna go in and we're gonna splatter this when we're done. So it's gonna kind of help cover up any sort of blemishes. All right, so I know it's a little off, but here you can see the gist of my paper that's blended so that it's lightest in the center. This is not a perfect blend by any measure. I've got a couple smudges on there that I can work through, but in the gist, this is what we're going for. And I think it's gonna work pretty nicely for us. Okay, so let's do a little bit of cleanup. Cleanup is definitely gonna be our friend today. And let's go with that. Wipe it off. And if you're curious as to what sort of blending tool I'm using, this is an ergonomic blending brush. This is by Pink and Main. Actually, this uses their older logo because they've updated their logo since. But they have ergonomic blending brushes. I know other companies have similar-ish designs, depending on if you have a favorite or a preference. But hey, that's what I had on hand. I think it works really nicely. I used this blending tool because it covers a large area. So it works really nicely when you want to cover up large backgrounds like this. I wouldn't want to go in with what I'm going to pull in later. Like, do you know how long it would take me to blend this up if I took one of my mini blending brushes? You don't want to use something like this because it's just going to not turn out the way that you want, but honestly, and most importantly, it's going to just take forever. All right, let's do a little bit of splatter work. So let's do some water first. This is gonna help get us some bleach marks. So we'll do that. Let that set for a second. I'm also wondering, do I pull out a distress spritz? Can I find a good distress spritz in like a couple seconds? Yeah, I can. All right, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna let that sit. The water is gonna bleach the paper or give us some bleach marks that are gonna pull the ink off and make it lighter, which I think is really fun for a scene like this. All right, so there you can see what I talk about with those bleach marks. And then I have my splatter box. Fun fact, my splatter box is an old Kindred Steps limited edition box. I don't know which one it was that got sent to me. Is there a date on here? Let's see. Ooh, I bet you I could figure this out. This was shipped to me on November 15th of 2019. So I bet you that this was for the very first Advent kit that came out. So that's what I'm going to say. This was from the Advent kit because I don't think Booyah came out around that time. Mystery Kids came out around that time, but it was a little earlier. Those were more in the fall. This was very much holiday. I am pretty certain that this is the box that I received the first Advent kit with. So I use this as my splatter box. So let's see. So that's my splatter box. We're going to put that in there. And then I wanted to grab a blue distress spritz. And the first thing I could find that was somewhat close is I found peacock feathers, and this is going to work pretty well. It might have a very slight greenish shimmer in comparison to a true blue, but I'm not going to make y'all wait for me and dig. So we're going to shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. All right. Let's see, I like to spray off to the side, and then just sort of spritz a little bit. Like that. Awesome. So we're going to put that. You know what? Let's keep the splatter box out for a second. And you know what? This really helps mask all of those blemishes. So we're just going to go in. I think I know what area I'm going to make the bottom portion. So I'm going to do a little bit of cover up with some grass. And that one has a little bit of a heftier area of distress spritz. So I think I'm going to work to cover some of it up. But I'll bring it close to the camera in a second so you can see just what this looks like. So here you see, trying to get it to catch the light. It just has, I don't think that this is considered a mica spray, but it has a really nice shimmer to it. Almost like a pearlescent going on. So I like to incorporate these every once in a while when I want something to have that extra shine or something a little extra magical. What we're also going to do at this point, I'm going to do a little bit of paper splattering as well. So I don't need this one anymore, but I do need these two. I have some Picket Fence Studios paper splatters. I've got opaque white and opaque gold. I wanted to use opaque white because it's one of my go-tos. It's like splattering white paint essentially. I just hope it dries nicely for me. Because sometimes when you use a white, it has a tendency to pick up dyes behind it. So there is a possibility that this could pick up some of that blue and it's going to be like a bluish white splatter in the end. And if that happens, that's okay. I also have some Copic white paint that honestly is, in my opinion, the ultimate, because it really dries nicely. But I have a very small amount of it, and I try to kind of use it sparingly. But the Picket Fence Studios paper splatter is definitely helpful. All right, next we're gonna use some opaque gold. And we're gonna put that off to the side. Let's see, I don't think I'm missing any comments, and that's okay. It could just be a quiet group tonight. Sometimes it's nice just to listen to someone crafting. But if you want to drop a comment just to say hello, I'd love to say hi back. I know that my Facebook Live was originally scheduled for Saturday and I had to cancel it. I don't make a habit of canceling lives too often. I think the last time I did it was like, if I'm not mistaken, I think the last time I did it, it was September of 2023. I had an emergency come up on a Saturday. But I just wasn't feeling well. And I really was worried about what it was going to feel like to do a Facebook Live and not feel like above like a 50, 60%. Like I was kind of feeling pretty and I just thought the concept of talking for an hour wasn't going to be fair to everyone because I was probably going to be like minimally talking and that's not fair to y'all and it's not fair to me. And so I'm like, you know what? We're going to postpone and it's going to be even better. So... And I believe that too, because I've kind of adapted this design over the last couple days. I had a similar idea planned, but it definitely has shifted. Just making sure this is nice and dry. Awesome. Okay, so we have a chunk of our background essentially ready. And now what we can do, let me show you a closer look at how pretty this is. Hello, Gwen. Patsy, did you say hello and did I miss it? Hello, Patsy, too. Patsy, if you made a comment, I didn't see it. If you didn't make a comment, don't worry about it. That's just me trying to make sure I'm not being rude by me not responding to a comment. All right, water break. And then we're going to take this. We're going to set this off to the side. I'm seeing how it looks on my screen, and it looks really good. It looks great in person, too. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say it doesn't look nice in person, but I definitely got that good ombre going on that I'm showing that you guys can also see of how it's super light in the center, and then it goes out to darker blue on the background. And my whole idea is that I want my fairy cloche background. See, you can barely see the lightness, but there's going to be like a glow around it, because it's so light in the center, and we're going to essentially put this in the grass, and then we're going to put everything together with the cloche dye. But we've got a lot to do before we get there, so bear with me. So let's put... what are we going to do, Justin? Let's get a new tray going. Oh, I could have used this earlier, and I didn't think about it. That's okay. All right, so what we're going to do is the elements that don't need any further attention, I'm going to set off to the side. And the stuff that does need attention, we're going to keep out. Now, let's talk about what's coming next. And that is, I'm going to be setting up a paper inking palette. It's also known as like a sticky mat. What else has it? Some people even, you can use it as a stamp platform. And it's basically just a huge photopolymer stamp that's just solid, and it holds your die cuts nicely in place. And we're just gonna use it. So let's go in, and I kind of want to start putting things together and like kind of doing this assembly line, but let me see. So I know I'm gonna need my glue gun, or my Misty Precision Glue Press. I know I'm going to also need my scissors. So let's start with this. So put that off to the side, put my scissors off to the side as well. And what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna pull in my blending brushes. I'm gonna bring in some, these are some mini blending brushes by Altenew. And we're just gonna get into this ink. So I am going to use, let's see, what are we gonna do? Let's put that to the side. That can go, this can go, that definitely can go to the side. So we're gonna use our blending tools. Let's see. I think we're doing good. All right. Just making sure all of my comments are showing up. And we're gonna use, this is vintage photo. This is an old packaging of distressing. I'm just gonna go in, and I'm gonna distress the edge of this just to kind of give it a little bit of an ageness. I'm using some wood grain cardstock. This is by Lawn Fawn. It was in my stash. Oh, also, really fun bit. I'm going to say about 95% of the paper pieces used in today's live are actually from my scrap bin. And I think that that is awesome and really important because I'm sure, like most of you, I also have a scrap bin of paper. And sometimes I get frustrated by it because I wish there was less in there. Sometimes I just want, sometimes you just think it is easier to just reach for a clean piece. But I really wanted to use my scrap paper today. So essentially every piece of paper, now that I'm thinking about it, every piece of paper aside from the green grass that I did were scrap pieces. The green grass, I only had like 2 small pieces of green paper in my scrap bin, so I needed to add some to the variety. So that's what I did. So okay, so I've got that nicely blended. Let's go in. Where's my little gold bar that's supposed to go on there? Perfect. So we're gonna use this. So I've got the little gold die cut. I had some gold mirror paper in my stash. And we're gonna go in. All right. And I'm just going to put this nicely into place. And we've got the base of our fairy cloche fairly ready to go. I do think I'm going to end up putting my glass covering behind it so I can build everything up. But we'll get to that part soon. Because I don't want to do it here because I feel like it's not going to look authentic if things are coming out of there. But we'll get there. I also was thinking when I was seeing this earlier, I think we need a rose to put in here, if you catch my drift. I think there needs to be a rose with a couple, like maybe a couple rose petals. I think that would be a really fun add-on, and I think that maybe it needs to happen. So just an idea I had while putting this together. So stay tuned, you never know. All right, let's go in. Part of what's going to be important, because we're doing a lot of therapeutic ink blending today, using a lot of different inks means we are going to have to do a lot of cleaning so we don't have cross-contamination of color. You don't want to start blending up your pretty purple flowers and end up muddying it up because you were blending some pretty yellow tulips before. So just make sure you're keeping everything in line. We're also going to go in, let's do green next. Here we go. Let's do some green. I got some pine needle distress ink. And then let's do that. So we're going to go in. We're going to use our green blending brush. I have a handful of these. These, like I said, these are from Altenew. I've kind of learned with blending brushes, use whatever you think will work for you. We all have our favorite companies and our favorite preferences, and maybe the most important thing to you is supporting your favorite brand. Maybe the most important thing to you is adding the tool that is the most colorful to keep your stash happy and bright because that's why you like to craft. Maybe what's most important to you is staying up to date with all of the latest ink blending trends and making sure that you have the latest product. So whatever it is, if something strikes your fancy in terms of an ink blending tool, buy one and try it. Buy the lowest quantity you can, try it, and one of two things is going to happen. You're going to either hate it, and you're going to probably throw it in a drawer and not use it again, or you're going to gift it to somebody who might be just starting their crafting journey, and hey, a blending tool is better. A not great blending tool is better than no blending tool, or you might love it and need to buy more. So I say always start with the small investment. Also, like with inks, I mean, it might be wasteful at first, but like you can buy mini pads of inks, even if you're a full ink pad sort of person. Whatever floats your boat. And then if you really like the inks, you can buy more mini colors if you like the minis, or you can upgrade to the larger size. Because I want to say that usually mini ink pads are not more than like $5 a piece. I want to say they're like a chunk less than that. I know some companies you can even buy like a bundle of 4 for like $11 or $12.99, which I don't know why I put the lid on. Let me just check comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's see. All right, I think we're good. All right, so we're gonna go in. I'm just gonna add more ink. Now, let's talk about fun stuff as we're ink blending. Be sure to keep an eye on the fan club because our March release sneaks are going to start on Sunday night, so you're going to see some fun stuff. I am working on my projects right now. They'll be done very soon. I'm hoping to have them done maybe even tomorrow, but stay tuned for that. The design team, of course, knocks it out of the park every time, so we're getting excited to share with you what's been going on and to see all the new Kindred. Is this going to be dark enough? Do I need more? I just want to... I'll figure it out. Maybe a little more. Just to kind of carry the darkness of the ink up. And this is Pine Needles Distress Ink. And also, I don't think it's closed yet, but don't forget about the Nuclear Family. I think it's the pre-order, so if that's been something that you've had your eye on, you know how the limited edition products, or maybe you don't know how the limited edition items work with Kindred, but they're usually only available for a short period of time, either while the pre-order is actually open, or until, if it's something that's in stock, until supplies run out. So grab it while you see it, if you can, because usually once it sells out, there's no promise of it coming back. It's not me saying it never does, but it's never something that you can really count on. And usually with stuff like this, if it's gonna come back, it's not gonna be for a while. All right, let's also work on some of our little foliage pieces that come with the Fairy Cloche set. And we're gonna do these 3 little branches, and I'm just gonna pull in some more green with this Pine Needles and just kind of add it. Because these are already pretty dark green as it is. So I just want to reinforce that darkness. All right, so we've got those. Those are done. Bing, bang, boom. I don't really have to worry about assembling much with those. Yay! The next bout, I see what's coming though. It's gonna be a little bit more, so that's okay. All right, so let's go and do another just quick wipe. I don't think I'm gonna do a full out cleaning because I think we're just gonna move on to some more green. So I have a bunch of these little like bellflowers. And I'm not going to do too much with them, but I have to do a little bit. And so I just kind of want to go in and work on these. See, the little itty bitty dies don't always stick the best to my mat. That's okay, but you just kind of got to be mindful of that. So we're going to go in. I also have these leaves, not leaves. You don't pluralize with the F. I just have a lot of little ink blending to do. Y'all, okay, while I'm getting everything ready for ink blending, because this is probably going to be the largest ink blending individual session, is this one right here. I had quite the setup for this. So a little bit about behind the scenes about how my crafting, how my process is to get ready to craft with you in a Facebook Live, is that I give myself 1 hour. 1 hour historically is about how much time that I need. Also, segue, I'm using Mowed Lawn Distress Ink, not the Pine Needles. The Pine Needles is still up here. So I'm using the Mowed Lawn, and we're just gonna kind of ink blend our little leaves, our little stems. So I give myself an hour. Usually it's enough. I know if I'm ever doing a live that's a little bit more on the ambitious side, I know well enough to start a little bit more, but historically 60 minutes is about as much as I'll need. Okay, so we're just gonna go in, button that. So first 30 minutes, going great. Not really having any issues. Got all of my die cuts taken care of. As you can see, we're using a lot of them. And I just wanted to make sure they were all gonna be good to go. So once we hit that, I decided I wanted to pull in a stamp set eventually into my project. And I didn't want to, I wanted to use the Kindred Fey one, but I didn't remember where I put it. So I started rummaging through my bins. I have a bin by my desk of uncategorized product, and I was pretty certain it was in there and I couldn't find it. Also, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to trim off each of the little green flowers because we're going to do some creative layering when this is ready, and it's going to help the end product. So I go in, I have a bin by my desk. It's like the size of a photo box that you can buy from a crafting store. And it's not it. I can't find it. I'm like, son of a bucket. Well then, in one of our guest bedrooms, I've kind of taken over with crafting stuff in there, but it's like, it's a room that we don't really ever use. So I can kind of just tuck things away in there and not have to worry about the repercussions of dealing with it because I can just shut the door. And in there, I have this box. And this box, I don't even have dimensions for this box. It's not like it's a large shipping box, but it's not like a Home Depot moving box. It's probably, how long? It's probably at least 18 inches deep, and it's probably about 14 inches wide, and then maybe 4 to 5 maybe 5-ish inches tall, but it's got flaps so it can support a chunk. It's stuffed with crafting product that I have to put away. And it has to get done at some point. I have not had the time to do it since, oh my gosh, the last time I organized craft product was actually at the Naperville Playdate that Audra put on. I think that was in August. I spent a whole day organizing craft product because I wanted to. And I needed to get it done, and I really think that was the last time that I took to do this. So it's everything that I've accumulated since essentially like the end of August. And that was, I mean, we're at the point that end of August was almost 7 months ago. So I tell you, it's a lot. So anyways, back to my story. So I'm digging through this box, and I end up calling it my no-no box because it's like, no, don't touch it. No, don't go in there. No, I don't want to use it. It's too much stuff. It's a lot of good stuff too, which is kind of like, it should be motivation to get everything all cleaned out. And then I had to put the box onto the bed. When I put the box onto the bed, I had to kneel down to start going through it. And when I went through it, I moved my knee too far forward, and part of the bed frame was like kind of left out and jagged. And it's like, we don't have kids in our house, so we don't really have to worry about safety concerns. And also this bedroom door is shut all the time. But like now I'm sitting here realizing we need a cap on there or something, because I ripped my favorite like cozy pants. But when I say cozy pants, I don't mean like sleep pants. I mean like my favorite travel pants that I end up wearing all the time. Now, true story, these pants, they're from Old Navy. I must have bought them 7-8 years ago. They've had to have they've been to a couple continents at this point. I mean, they're always like, I'm always flying in these pants. And then when I'm not traveling, I love using it just to like, because they're almost passable that I can get away like wearing them to work. Now I gotta find new pairs. So my poor husband has been searching online for me to try to find these, because Old Navy doesn't make them anymore. And so he thinks he found them, which is great. And where was the stamp set, mind you? The stamp set was in the original small box by my desk. I just couldn't find it. So yeah, that was the second half of me getting ready for this live. But it's okay. All right, so we're going to go. So that's my story. I'm sorry you're having sound issues, Patsy. All right, we're going to go in. And Carrie, thanks for stopping by. Oh, Christian, you're okay. You reorganize your ink storage. Hey, I was just literally talking about reorganizing in storage, and girl, more power to you. All right, so we're going to go in. This is Wilted Violet, and I just need a little bit towards the top of the flowers. I'm going to show you how we're going to layer this up. I'm just going to go in. Why is this? Oh, I'm looking at this and realizing my mistake. So this one does not need to get ink blended, but this one does. That was my duplicate. I had duplicates of one of them and forgot about them. I'm just going to go in and ink blending just to get a little bit of a variance of color, get that nice depth going. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to assemble these. Okay, it's over here. And this is my thought process with it, is that I should be able to use my Misty Precision glue press and just kind of very carefully run glue down the side and on each little branch. And I should be able to then take the corresponding green one and just layer it right on top. And then what I should get, if everything lines up, and it should, is I should get a green stem with little purple flowers. So that's pretty simple. But I just thought that would be a nice way to make sure that it was like flowers on a vine. So we're going to put the adhesive on the flower one. Just go in. And then, oh, it's gonna stick. Don't stick to my fingers. No, stay back. Okay. Now that one is gonna be, this one is what goes right on top of it. And that's just a fun way to sort of stretch your stash. Now the opposite that you could do is that you could leave the green stems as the solid piece, and then you could go ahead and trim off each of the flowers and put the flowers into place. So it's kind of whatever you want, but what I like about this is that I'm only adhering one piece. The flowers, I would be adhering 3 or 4, depending on which one I'm working with. So I thought this was a little bit of a time hack. And also I am gluing off of this mat because I don't want to get liquid adhesive onto it. And I'm putting my finger on the flower to hold it into place because I don't need to put liquid adhesive on the flowers. But now I have residual glue on my fingers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I'm so upset about my pants too. It's okay. We'll get new pants. I'll get new pants. I own other pants. Could you imagine if it was my only pair of pants? But we're not going to go down that road. Because I should be counting my blessings. All right, we got another one right there. And then glue this one. So like I said, this is just kind of like a tedious little process Facebook Live. Oh, my poor pants. Oh, you're so kind, Christian. Carrie, what type of liquid glue? So when I got my Misty Precision Glue Press, I just used the Nuvo glue that's included with it. I think it works fine, but then it ran out. And so I had on hand, I have Ultra Bond glue, which is essentially it's from ThermoWeb. ThermoWeb has like a couple different names for their products that almost look like they're a different brand, but they're all a ThermoWeb product. So I'll show you the glue stick in a second of what the mini stick looks like. But it's called Ultra Bond Liquid Adhesive. It works pretty good. I've been using Ultra Bond glue a lot since about 2021 about. And I still have so much of it on hand too. It looks like it's a little pink glue bottle. It's just Ultra Bond adhesive. It dries clear. So I love it. I know some people like Barely Arts. I know there's Artiste glue from scrapbook.com. I just heard that the Artiste glue by scrapbook.com is actually something I should be using for today. Excuse me, because it works well with vellum. One moment. All right, what's next? Let's do a little bit more greenery. Got these little flower stems. Just kind of put that all down. My favorite pair of pants can no longer be worn in public. They had a hole and blow places you could, oh no. Well, I hope you're at least able to wear them comfortably around your home. And I appreciate you doing a service to society that you're not allowing yourself to get ticketed or arrested. we would miss your cards, Christian. All right, I'm going in. This just has some residual mowed lawn ink on it. And these are just some leaves, and we're going in with another flower. So we're going to just kind of go in with that. All right. Now, let's take these off. Oh, Philly, come on. Gina K glue. Okay, and hers is, what is her glue called? Is it Connect? Is that what she calls her glue sticks? I might be wrong there. I apologize if I am. I don't own the Gina K glue, but I want to say they're called it's like Connect glue. I recently got the Intricate die cutting machine. I haven't used it. I should probably use that sometime. That way I'll be able to give my full reaction. Oh, Connect liquid glue. Okay. That makes me at least feel like I'm remembering different important products out there, you know? All right, so what we're going to do, let's see. We're going to do some pink next. We're going to do real pink flowers. Just 2 of them. That's enough. And after this, the last thing that we have to ink blend are mushrooms. So let's go in and use some Kitsch Flamingo. And Kitsch Flamingo is kind of my go-to pink. It used to be picked raspberry. That's so dark, you know? Where now I use Kitsch Flamingo, and I also, if I wanted to have a very slight peachiness to it, still be pink but have that peachiness, I like worn lipstick. But peach is saltwater taffy. All right, so there we go. Now, let's do the opposite for these. So the last one I cut off all the little flowers for the stem. This one, let's cut off the little flowers themselves and glue them onto the stem to kind of give you the reverse. So we can, let's see. 1, 2. No, that one's gonna go a little more. Right, perfect. Okay, so this, we're gonna go ahead, put those off to the side, don't need you. And we're just gonna go there. All right. Let's see, now we've got the little flowers, just like that. Oh, these are so sweet. I have to be real careful later with the vellum that we're doing for the background, but I'm fairly confident we should be fine. This is also, if you are somebody, and I don't do this often, I actually just shared a card on my feed though yesterday that does this, but I do not do this often. If you like to color your die cuts, I'm not talking ink blending, I'm talking you like to go in there with your favorite markers or pencils and color them up, I really think that this die set is maybe one of the best Kindred ones to do that with because of all these little elements that you could add details to. So this would be a great one, or if you're looking to kind of start the process with it, totally recommend it. All right, let's see. We're gonna go in and put our little mushrooms. We have little mushroom caps. Then we got little mushrooms themselves. I think it's a great idea. I think this is a really good set with it, Christian. I think it would be really pretty. I think that some of these are small enough that the detail that you would get from coloring would be really well received. But just my 2 cents. Yay, Patsy can hear. All right, let's see. I was also very paranoid I was going to lose one of the pieces for the small mushroom. But that didn't happen. Yay. All right, so let's go in. I'm going to use some brushed corduroy. And the paper that I used for the mushrooms, for the body, these are, it's a very, very, almost like a light blush color. I just wanted to go into the bottom and blend, just like that. Just a little bit. Just to kind of give it that earthiness. Not too much going on, that's okay. And now I'm gonna go in, and the last color I wanna use is Lumberjack Plaid. Ooh, Christian says, cut out color cardstock and then alcohol markers to deepen the shadow. Ooh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm a fan of that. All right, we're gonna do with some Lumberjack Plaid. To the bottom of my mushroom caps. I should have went in and I should have done multiple color mushroom caps, but what's wonderful about the die cut for this is that all the mushrooms are together. You can die cut the mushroom tops and the bottoms all at once. If you want to do multiple colors though, you got to do it twice. But I did that, so it was just 2 runs through the die cutting machine and just 1 die. So love that. Oh my gosh, you guys. I have this all stacked off to the side. I have all of my distress inks that we used for today. Look at this. All right, we're gonna set this back to the side so I don't want to play Jenga and have it topple on top of my Facebook Live. My goodness. But that's all the inks that we used. So we're gonna go in. A little bit of liquid adhesive. You don't need too much. I'm also realizing that I may have put all the mushroom caps on, that I didn't ink blend the bottom, but more so the side, and honestly, that's fine. It'll work. Not worried about it. No, I'm a little irritated by it, but I'm not worried about it. Just kind of going in, kind of match everything nicely up. Ooh. All right, here we go. I don't know if I'm going to use that little one. Just gives me a little bit of anxiety. Small die cuts, y'all. I'm not one to do this. This is one of the only times I do this in this industry because I don't think that it's fair to do it at almost any other time. But biologically, I do not have dainty hands. My hands are, I have a large, this is like a really big size ring, my wedding size. I'm like 4 or 5 sizes larger with my wedding ring than my husband. I just have big hands. And what I'm going with is like, I have met so many crafters that have like dainty hands that are able to like really nicely like get die cuts and hold them together. And I'm like, these sausages do not do that. They just don't do that. And so that's why it's hard with me with small die cuts. I try my best. I never will say that like if someone asks me, it's not that I'm gonna tell them no, I won't do it. I will do it. But whew, every time it's like, here we go. Here we go, Justin. There we go. All right. So we've got that one assembled. Monster hands. That sounds nicer. I'm calling myself sausage fingers. Oh. All right. I also want to do for my die cut sentiment. For a second, I just kind of want to play with this. Where we're going to have this very close. Is it going to look better? I want to say this is going to look better with the white on top of the gold. Or is it going to look better? It might look better with the gold on top of the white. Oh, it's going to be the gold on top of the white, definitely. Nice pop with that. Okay. Usually I don't like all the metallic right on front, but we're going to do it. So that is A-okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put this away. We're just going to clean it up really briefly. And then I'm going to put my sentiment together too. And then we can start putting everything together. There's not going to be that much left, aside from assembly. Which is my lovely part of the project to get to, is when it's like, we don't have too much left. Love creating, but sometimes getting towards the end is exciting. All right, let's see. I highly recommend, though, getting something along the lines of like this paper inking palette. It really does help. All right, so let's go in. I'll just add liquid glue. My goal is for the white to sort of peak on the left side, so I'm adding liquid glue to the rightmost portion of the letters. Sorry about the cough. Before I do more, water. Oh yes, ice water. And we're going to very carefully liquid glue this. Slightly offset it. Not too much, but just so that that white peaks around the gold. Love it. That just gives a nice sort of dimension. Then, do I have it? I want to grab an acrylic block. Let's see. Just to kind of add some weight to make it dry nicely. All right, so I think we're good. So we're gonna put this off to the side. I'm done with my ink blending, so I can remove that. Got all my little bits and bobs. Should probably clean up that little bit of ink. All right, now I think we can start getting into assembly. So I'm going to take our background, and I'm going to take the tallest piece of grass and just sort of map out where I want it to go. Because I'm going to take the smaller one that's going to go. My goal is I have 2 pieces, and I am going to kind of nestle the cloche between the layers. So I just want to make sure that I'm giving myself enough space with everything. Ooh, I love this. Okay, so we're gonna go in. Let's hear this. Gonna go in. Da da da. We're just going to kind of put it flush to the bottom, just like that. Perfect. Make sure it's okay. Now we're going to let's see, just sort of map out where everything's going to go. So that's going to go kind of like up there. I don't want to glue that yet because I want to glue the actual glass part behind this. Not in front, but behind. So we're gonna go in. All right. Let's just make sure. Awesome. So I just want to make sure everything is mapped out nicely. It is. Okay, so we're gonna go in, we're gonna adhere this layer. You know what, now that I'm thinking about it, we should maybe arrange the flowers first. I think we're gonna do that. So I'm actually going to just kind of rub that in, because I'm gonna take advantage of that later, but let's build off of this right now. So let's put our little cloche items in. So we're just gonna sort of build on this. So we will just, let's see. I'm getting quiet. This is what happens when I start to put die cuts together. I'm very sorry about that. So we're gonna go in. We're just gonna start getting everything together. And who knows, I may not even use all of these. And then let's see what else. Do big one. Check comments in a second. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Now the reason that I'm putting this together, why I was sort of hemmed and hawed, is because vellum is fickle. Vellum is tricky. And by me putting these elements on before I commit this to the background, I can put liquid adhesive behind these little elements so that my vellum will stick to my background, which is going to be very helpful. All right, let's see. See if we could. Start to reimagine how everything's gonna go. I like that. I want it like that. Like that. I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. Alright, so we're just gonna kind of keep arranging our die cuts so that we can have them kind of take up as much of the inside of this fairy cloche as we can. And I do want to make sure that I have some stuff that's going up rather tall, because when I put my fake sentiment, it's going to probably go over it. I just want to make sure that I have items that are extending beyond. So yeah, we're going to do that. Tuck that in like that. We're getting there. Ooh, pretty pretty. I love this because it's like, it also gives you terrarium vibes, which I think are also really cool and trendy. Alright, so pink flower there. So we do pink flower there. Don't be afraid to let these overlap. I think that makes it look natural. Just gonna kind of keep putting things together. I also think this could be really pretty. There's a little dragonfly image that you could almost use as like a lightning bug, and you could do a light up card with this and make it like a lightning bug fairy catcher of sorts. I don't know, little ideas, I suppose. Down. And I don't know if I'll use all these leaves, but stay tuned. You never know. We're getting towards the end of this, which is exciting. All right. Push this a little off to the center. And add a little bit of mushroom to it. little baby mushroom. Yeah, it would have been cute if I would have had multicolored mushrooms, but this totally works. Alright, so keep going. We'll of course add a couple embellishments at the end too, just to kind of pull everything together. Alright, so go ahead and get this going. Oh, that's so pretty. So I'm gonna go in and do liquid adhesive down here, liquid adhesive down here, and then just kind of a little bit underneath the key elements, because if I put liquid adhesive where it's not covered, then it'll show up kind of smushed, like smushed underneath, like you can see it, and it's just not going to look sightly. You can kind of see on the back of this paper, or on the back of the vellum, how like the liquid adhesive looks when it's right up against it and visible. So I'm trying to keep it invisible by hiding it behind all these little elements, which is what I recommend to do. All right, awesome. Trying to keep it centered as best as I can, leveled as best as I can. Oh, Philly. You're so close, Justin. Gosh darn it. Keeps moving on me. There. That's going to be it. And then we will put our second piece of grass underneath. So then we're just going to kind of make sure it's nice and flush to the bottom. Just like that. And make sure that everything adheres nicely as well. So that way it looks like it's kind of sitting in the grass. Trim off the excess. Just like this. Okay, we're getting there. So then we're going to take our sentiment, and it's just going to kind of go, it's going to cover the flowers, but the sentiment is dainty enough and thin that I don't care that it's going to cover some of the things that we ink blended, because you can still see a chunk of them. So we're going to go in, let me grab my craft tweezers. Now, in a perfect world, I would have super mindful hands that would be able to put foam tape perfectly behind this so that it lifted off the project, but it's just not doable, not for me. If you could do that, oh, it's gonna be chef's kiss. All right, so then let's go in, sort of make sure everything is nicely lined up. Make sure this feels nice and level. Kind of push it down. All right, now while that's weighing down, let's work on a card base, because I do actually need to do that. So let's do... Get that. Where's my... There it is. We're going to set this off to the side. All right. Oh, you know what, Christian? Those are just sort of ongoing projects in my books. I don't set myself on time limits. No, that's a lie. I do. So don't sit here and make me. I don't mean to make you feel like if you got to get it done by a certain amount of time, you shouldn't have to. But sometimes I just try to be realistic. Where is my scoring tool? There we go. There's my favorite. Is that my favorite one? I don't know. I've got a couple scoring tools. So we're going to go in. We're just going to get a card base ready. Just like this. And then just kind of make sure it's wonderful. We're going to trim it. Although we're not done. So we've got our card base, and then we're going to go ahead and I've got the Kindred Face stamp set. So my thought is, let's grab a Misty, and I wanted to just kind of, yeah, we're going to, if we use this, my poor fingers, hold on y'all, my fingers are a mess. I'm getting it on my white paper, so I'm trying to be mindful. So what we're going to do is on the inside of the card, we're going to stamp out a sentiment and an image. Because I just think inside sentiments are special. So we're going to go in and we're going to use the picture of Audra. Yeah, she's gonna put her right in the center like that. And we're gonna close this. And because Audra loves purple, let's pull some shaded lilac distress ink. Make Audra purple. I'm gonna use shaded lilac. I don't usually use distress inks for stamping, but this'll work. Well, in my head that was going to be a little lighter. That's okay. And then we're going to also stamp our sentiment, which is going to say, "I'm so very glad we're friends." And for this one, I'm not going to use a distress ink because I don't like how distress stamps out sentiments. I want something a little bit more on the crisp side. So let's go along the lines of, let's do Drive-In Catherine Pooler ink. Catherine Pooler inks do stamp pretty nicely. Let's condition this one. Oh, this one's taking a little longer. My poor husband, we have to eat dinner still. I don't know, maybe I'll have to pop this in the mail to Audra. All right, so I'm so very glad we're friends. I'm also going to use a special cleaner, if I can find it. Oh no, where did the special cleaner go? Well, maybe not. I have a special cleaner for when I use, oh there it is, Catherine Pooler inks, because it helps take some of the staining off. So it's a Nuvo cleaner. It works. It's not perfect, but it does help. So we're gonna add the sentiment back to the stamp set. Got our card base. This is I'm so very glad we're friends. Just sort of a very faint image. And then we're going to put some liquid adhesive on our card base. So it's nicely covered. And then put our card on said base. All right. We are almost there, friends. And then I am thinking we need to add just a couple embellishments. Not the silver ones. Where are the gold ones? Oh no. I thought I had them out. Oh shoot. I don't want to use these ones. Did I put them away? Wait. There it goes. Yeah, got them. All right. I just want to use some sparkle spots. These are by Trinity Stamps. Kind of like my new favorite embellishment, if I'm being honest. I just think they're really pretty. So we're going to do, just take one right there. We're not going to add too many, but I want to kind of play off of the gold. So we're going to add like one there. And then let's do like, we'll do a medium-sized one. And a small one. That one is a double one. Perfect. All right, you guys, we're done. All right, we got this all taken care of. Let me put my little sparkle spots away. They just came out with more colors of these two, and I definitely need them. I will snag them soon. But I think your standard embellishments should always be like a silver, a gold, and a white. And honestly, silver and white, depending on what sort of silver it is, can sometimes be the same thing. All right, let's talk what we did. So, we used the fairy Cloche die set to make this little nighttime fairy scene card. We made it into a thank you card by using the thank you word die. I also pulled in the grass scene die just to help sort of put everything together for this card. We used the Kindred face set as well on the inside just to decorate it up a little bit, make it nice and pretty. So, there you guys have it. We have everything all completed for today's card. I will be certain to get this into the fan club with a YouTube video, of course, so that you guys can watch it whenever you want, and all of the products that we used, because there were definitely a chunk with this one. But if you have any comments, don't ever hesitate to let me know. Thank you all so very much for stopping by tonight. I can't wait to craft again with you really soon. Who knows? Maybe the next time I'll have new pants to craft with that don't have a hole in them. So you never know what'll happen. Thank you guys so very much. Have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next month with some more Facebook Live inspiration. Goodbye.